Hi, how you doing, and welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you how you can easily create your book covers in preparation for you uploading your books onto Amazon KDP. Now this is part 2 of a video series. In the previous video I showed you how to easily create the book internal or the coloring pages for your coloring book. I'll have a link somewhere on this video for you to go and watch that if you're picking this video up and you would like to go and watch that. Following on from the previous video, I did create a coloring book. The coloring book I currently have on screen. What we need to do now is we need to design a cover page for the actual book. And the reason why that we need to do that, of course, is one, it's a cover page, but two, and probably the more important thing about this, is your book cover is effectively your advertisement. It's the bit, or it's the item that draws people's attentions. It gets people clicking into potentially, onto your page with a potential to purchase your book. So it's a shop window dressing. It's the first thing that people get to see about your coloring book. You could have the best coloring book in the world and a very bad book cover, and your book's basically not going to sell. So what you need to do is you need to focus and spend a bit of time on creating quality book covers and obviously quality book content as well. Now, I'm on the KDP platform, and one of the things that I do want to point out to you is there is a kdp.amazon.com/cover-calculator is the web address, but I'll drop that link below the video. You can come here and it will give you the template that you require to get the exact dimensions that you need for your book. Now, our book was 64 pages long. Let me just scroll to the bottom. We had 64 pages in this particular book. So what I need to do is I need to punch all of these details in, and then obviously what will happen is this calculator will give me the dimensions that I require. So first and foremost, it's the paperback because it's a coloring book. The interior type is black and white. The paper type, I want white paper. I want a left to right direction of reading. The measurement unit is going to be in inches, and I'm going to choose 8.5 by 11 inches because that's the size of the book that I have chosen, and it is 64 pages. And if I select calculate dimensions, what it does is it gives you all of the various dimensions that you require. You can take these dimensions and put them into whatever software that you're using, but in our example we're going to be using Canva. And the easiest option with Canva is to come to the bottom button here that says download template, and what it's going to do, it's going to prompt a download. I'm going to cancel that because I already have it downloaded, but you would want to download and unpack or unzip that download. What I've got here is that's the template that I've downloaded and unzipped. They give you it in PDF and PNG format. I'm going to use the PNG format whenever I go across to Canva. Now, before you start designing, one of the things that I do want to point out to you, remind you about, is have a look at what your competition's doing. Have a look at what attracts your eye on Amazon and other bookstores, wherever you're looking. Look and see if there's a theme there. Look and see if there's any inspiration that you can take from other covers and other books. Now, whilst I say that, it is very important to be aware of what your competition is doing. You can never ever plagiarize or copy or directly copy anybody else on Amazon. So what I've done is I've came into Amazon.com. I've typed in teddy bear coloring books for adults. Our theme in this one is Teddy Goes to School. I could niche down if I really wanted, but I wanted to keep it relatively general. So I entered teddy bear coloring books for adults. I hit enter, and these are the results that have been returned. I'm getting a good feel of what's out there in regard to covers. As I scroll down through, there's varied levels. Several characters here in this book you know, big face with cute teddy bears. It draws my attention. Big writing also draws my attention. Likewise here with the big writing. So there are different things that you can pick out when it comes to your design. This one here is of interest to me, not because of the writing. Personally, I find the writing hard to read, but I like just the large teddy bear with the hearts looking at you. Whenever you click into it, I can click onto the image, teddy bear hearts, coloring book for adults. And what I can also see is the rear cover of this book. And what they've done is they've give you examples of some of the internal coloring pages, which is a good thing. I also do that. I like to add, you know, the on the rear sort of examples of the coloring pages as well. So if I close out of that, I try read sample. What I can also do, by the way, maybe I've done that too fast. If I come, you could get like a look inside the actual book, and it shows you a slight part of the book, but essentially you get a feel of what's in the book. The coloring test page, personally, if I was inserting that into this book, I might have placed small individual teddies or something different, or heart shapes, rather than you know, just the oval shapes. But it's a good thing to insert into your book, and that's it. They've obviously cropped out the images. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop over into Canva. But before we go to Canva, I want to come back to the cover calculator, because these are the dimensions that I need to use for my cover. I need to put 17.394 for the width, and the height is 11.25. The reason being that the width is so large is because effectively it's both front and back cover, and the spine, everything, all the books, if you imagine it's been opened up and folded out flat, that's the dimensions that we're looking at by our standard height. So it's 17.394 by 11.295 in inches. So I come to Canva and I want to create a design. I want to select custom size. Before I enter any details, I need to make sure that I select inches in Canva, and then it's 17.394 by 11.25. Just before I hit create new design, I need to just check 17.394 by 11.25. 17.394 by 11.25 in inches, and I select create design. So now that I have my blank design opened up, what I want to do is I want to drag in the downloaded template from the cover calculator on Amazon, and this is what it gives you. I'm going to drag this out to it meets and fully covers, and it snaps into place because it's the perfect dimensions. I've just dragged that out and onto my book cover. That then gives me guidance. What I also want to point out to you is this information on the left hand side. What it's telling you is the black solid line which goes around the perimeter of the book. This is where your book will be cut to produce the final trim size. So you don't want to be having content near this black solid line. The blue dashed lines are the folds on the spine, with obviously the pink being a little bit off it as well. The white area is where you can position your logos. The red area is the out of live or the bleed. And the final thing I want to point out to you is the barcode region at the bottom here. Make sure that you don't put any content there, because if we go back to this example, you'll see Amazon puts the barcode onto the book, and if you try and place content there, the barcode will go over the top of it. So now that we have the template in place, what I now want to do is I want to drag out some guides. The reason I want the guides is because obviously once I start to drop images into place, I'm maybe not going to see this full template, and I want to be aware of where my lines are, especially the black solid line. I want to make sure that I don't cross over those. So I'm going to drag out my guides, drop those in place, And then the final two guides that I do want is the blue dashed line. So I'm going to drag out two more. I'm going to put those onto the blue dashed line. Blue dashed line. Now, if you're working with guides or you want to use the guides but you don't know how to, what you need to do is you need to come up to the top. Let me try that again. File is what you want to click. Then go to settings and make sure you have highlighted or selected show rulers and guides. That's what you want to do. You can turn that off and then go file, settings, show rulers and guides, and you can turn that on and off as you design your book, just so that you can get a clear view of it. Typically I like to design over this, and then at the end what I like to do is delete this template off my book design, but it's up to you how you like to work. You could delete it now because I've got the guides in place, but I'm going to leave it there for now. So now that we're ready to start designing, you use whatever assets you have. You design a good cover that has to be appealing, has to draw the click, it has to entice the people browsing and scrolling through the various books on Amazon. You have to bear that in mind. It might not be the design that you would personally like, but something that's going to draw people into looking at your book, because ultimately you're not going to make sales unless you draw people in. What I have, obviously I have my own content that I use. This is custom content. It's not AI generated. It's not from kind of the standard stock websites. What it is, it's unique, hand-drawn, custom content that I use. Obviously, I do sell these packs. You can purchase the pack if you want, or any of my other colouring packs, but you don't need those packs for you to be publishing books on Amazon, is the point that I want to make. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my custom content. You can follow along and use this video for ideas, tips, inspiration, and if you feel that you want to get this, well then by all means you certainly can. So I've got a list here of I want to use this page 6, and as I drag the image into place, I'm going to basically just stretch it out, and I'm just going to cover the entirety of the front portion of the book. This is just one of the background images. I have background images designed to go with characters, but I just want the background at the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to design on the front, and then once I'm happy with the design, then I'll move on to the rear design. Also, what I'm doing here is I'm just deliberately pulling my book a bit further out, just stretching it to make sure that I don't get white edges, that the blade, it cuts off, and I'm happy and content that my content is going to be in place. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I'm happy. So I'm happy with that layout. The next thing that I want to add in is I want to add in a heading. I think I'll do that. I want to make my font white. So Control A. Font color, I want to choose a white. And whilst you can't see it now, what I want to do is I want to keep it at the bottom of the book. And you'll see the central line, the magenta line that has just appeared on my screen. What that's telling me is that's now snapped into the center. What I also want to do is I want to come to the effects, and I want the hollow effect in this. Effectively what I want is, apologies, I want the outline, not the hollow. The hollow could see through it. The outline is effectively putting a stroke onto your text, which is exactly what I wanted. What I can do now is I can choose the color of my stroke. I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose, come on, this main color of the school building. I think it contrasts nicely with the bottom. And then what I finally want to do is I want to change my font as well. So what I also, now that I have a bit of text into place, what I also want to do is I want to look at adding in some of my characters. And some of the characters that I have chosen, I want to put onto the front page. So I'll drag them in. And I want to minimize and sort of play about with the characters and get them into place. Let's see this character here. And as you can see, they're all themed about going to school. And then I also want a character there. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at a list. I've pre-selected the characters that I want to put into the book, just to speed the process up. I haven't, any, what we say, advantage, unfair advantage, whatever it is. All I simply want to do is just speed up the process for the video content. So now that I've got a couple of characters in, I want to actually flip horizontal. I'm going to obviously play about with the content until I get it in the position where I'm happy with it. Let me see, I'll choose one more. 22. Pink and pink. Maybe not. I want contrast in colors. So let me see, 8, 9. Yes. This character here. I can put this character in, and so I've now got Teddy Goes to School, front design. I can play about with it, manipulate it a bit more, but you've seen how quickly, and this is all live in real time, I was able to design this book cover with the option of the coloured pack and the coloured characters that I have. I was very quickly able to drop in a background, drop in my characters. I could move about with it a bit more, but in general, I'm quite happy with the design that I have. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design the rear cover. So I want to add an element. It needs to be the rectangle. What I also want to do is I want to fill the rest of the area. Of course, I'm not going to use the brown. What I do want to do is I want to choose my own color, which is this blue color. It's a pastel blue. So I'll come into the color selector. Apologies there. I've got a cold at the minute. I had to pause the video there because I took a fit of sneezing. So what I want to do is I want to choose my color for the rectangle, or the shape that I just added in. So I'm going to select color. I'm going to come to the color selector, and then I'm going to use the little pen or pipette or whatever you call it. Click that, and I've chosen this color of blue that I want to add. Click on the blue area, and I now have the blue for the rear of the book. Might not stay that way. I don't know yet. I might just use a full-size character. I'll see as I design it. So now that I have that, what I want to do is I want to add in the colouring pages. So I want to add in 3 or 4 colouring pages into the book. If I move that across here, you'll see what I'm looking at. I can scroll down through my various pages. I'll pick some of the pages out. I've already used this in the front, but I quite like that. I like that one. So I'll drag that in as my first page. And it's up to yourself. You can be as creative as you want in the pages that you use, the number of pages. That's good. I like that one, 24. And again, once I get my content on the into the book, then again I like to move it, design it, tweak it. That one, chemistry. And what I'll also do is I'll try and get them all the same size first and foremost. So they're all on top of one another. So that should be them all the same size. What I can now do is drag them out and they will align. So I have my 3 coloring pages. I also want to put an outline around each of the pages, so I'm going to give it a border. Give it a border weight of 1, and obviously I want the border to be black. Move on to the next one. Border weight of 1 and be black. Now you can make them as thick as you want. On the example that we looked at there, here, if I click the image, they have a really, really thick border. Now me personally, I don't know this author at all. Looking at the images, it looks a bit AI generated. Might not be, but I just get that feeling, and that's maybe why they've got a really, really thick border around their images. I don't like that. You can, of course, give it as large a border as you want, and you'll see obviously the border in its effect. Actually, a border 4 isn't bad. So what I'll do is I'll change it out to 4. So I have my 3 pages in place, but what I'm also conscious of is basically, let me just drag this up. I was considering the barcode at the rear, and also what I want to do is I want to have a bit of text on the rear. This particular book didn't have any text. It's quite nice. It's quite simple. I might actually leave it simple and put some of the characters in. So I'm going back to my character pack, or my content pack, and in this particular case what I want to do is I want to look at some of the characters. So if I come into the characters, I can basically then pick through them. I quite like that one. I'll go with that. So I drag that in. So if I keep that on there, and then what I need to do with this layer is I need to click the layer, right click, come to the layer option, and then say send backward, and keep doing that until I get it into the position where I want it. Send backward, and then finally layer, and then send backward. What now happens is obviously it's fully covered. I've noticed that these pages appear to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to drag them about and resize them till I get a feel of the design. Sorry for the silence. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm just playing about with the actual design and what I've got. The reason being is it's one of those, it's just a work in progress. I just keep tweaking, adding layers and elements into the book until I'm happy with it, and maybe put another character in. Yeah. So essentially this is character 1 and character 2, and there's 30 characters in the book. And what I want to do is I want to get, as much sort of good detail into my book covers as I possibly can, because at the end of the day, ultimately, this is where people are going to be looking at it, and what I want to do is I want to entice them. I want them to realize that, you know, my content's good. It's a really good coloring page. This is my shop window. Come and pick up the book, and hopefully, you know, you'll have a really, really good time whenever you're going through the actual coloring of. If I just scroll down through the actual book, there's a lot of great detail in there, and that people, and hopefully they could see that in the images that I've uploaded. As I said, again, I'm just maximizing the space that I have on the book or on the page. So I'm relatively happy with this. I can, of course, spend a bit more time in making adjustments. I'm not going to make any other adjustments. I'm going to leave as is, and then obviously, you get the idea in regards of Canva and doing the design, and how quickly I was able to create this design using my pre-built assets that I personally use. If you have your own assets, of course, you're welcome to use your own. Once you're happy with the design, then obviously what you need to do, let me just do that. You need to come to the template and delete that. So you right click and you can either select delete, or right click and then click delete. I now know that template is being removed and it's not part of sort of my template anymore. Once I'm happy with the design, the next thing I want to do is I want to click the share icon in the top right. What I want to do then is select download. It's going to automatically pop up and say PNG as suggested. I want PDF print. You can come down through the rest of these options and you can look at these two options, but the problem we have is we're using a free account, so we have to go with RGB. If you're working in color, and my content is in color, I typically would use a different piece of software to do my design. I work in the CMYK range, where you get the differences. There's big differences in it in regards of printing and that. Sometimes people they work in RGB, which is fine for a computer screen, but when they get the book in their hand, they feel it's maybe not just as bright as it looks on the computer screen, and that's the difference. It's all to do with the printer and the language and the color schemes and that. So we don't have that option. We've only got RGB using Canva. I've selected RGB and then I'm going to select download. Canva's going to do its thing. It's going to create the PDF ready for me. So this is my book cover, and straight away I can see a problem with the black line or the black border around this. What I do know is that's built into this image. What I want to do is I want to come back in, drag that just out a bit more, and then I want to send that backwards. It must be. And what I also want to do is just zoom in a bit. So that's the border of my image, and it's past the guide. I've brought it past the guide, so I want to drag this blue rectangle from the rear page over, just to ensure that I cover that. And then I'm going to download again. And it's worthwhile, you know, I'm not going to edit this out of the video. I downloaded it, I opened up the PDF. I wasn't happy straight away. I could see an issue. So what I'm going to do, RGB, download, let Canva do its thing. I'm going to overwrite the previous file, open this up, and just check that everything appears to be okay. And now as I open up the PDF, I can see I'm quite happy with that. A gradient on the rear would be a nicer thing. Again, you can play about with this, but that's how to get your perfect size for your cover for uploading to Amazon KDP using Canva. It's quite quick in the process of what we've just shown you, and I hope you agree with me that Whilst I done this quickly, I could spend another 15-20 minutes on this design and really fine tune this into something amazing, but it's pretty good as it sits. So I hope you find this video tutorial helpful in creating the books, and I hope you agree that even over this short video I was able to produce something respectable, something decent, something good. I personally would spend a wee bit longer and tweak and adjust. But the book cover itself has been built quite quickly in front of your eyes. I've made sort of the adjustments, I've dropped in the characters, I've used the various elements, and the book cover is looking quite good. I would be happy enough to upload this onto Amazon. Again, sometimes you have to upload and test. Some covers catch and draw in the clicks and some don't. Obviously, if you want to pick up my content or my packs like this and future packs that I create and then ultimately release for sale, find the link below the on this video here. Find the link, come across my website, purchase the content, and then you'll get updates of every future pack that I bring out as well. And you're welcome to use them within the rights that I give you on the pages. So of course, my name is Chris Cole. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you found this tutorial video helpful, and of course give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I'll speak to you sometime in another video.